On today's episode, Elite Week continues with two-time winner of World's Toughest Mudder, Jon Albon. This is the World's Toughest Podcast. Welcome to the World's Toughest Podcast, where we talk about any obstacle course race you'd like, as long as that's World's Toughest Mudder. Each week we talk to members of the WTM community and share stories of success and failure in the single greatest event in OCR. My name is Will Hicks, and this is the World's Toughest Podcast. Welcome back to Elite Week on the World's Toughest Podcast. We are talking to elite members of the World's Toughest community every day from now until World's Toughest Mudder on November 11th. We've already talked with Amelia Boone, Stephanie Bishop, and Allison Ty, three top performing names that you may recognize. Today we talk with Jon Albon. I know I will not get to talk with everyone before we get to World's Toughest Mudder, but I am going to talk to as many as I can. Before we start, you can get in touch with me at willhicks@gmail.com, or let me know what you think of the show by leaving a review on iTunes. I appreciate every single review on iTunes. Thank you very much. They help me with the search results on iTunes, and they help other people know that the podcast is worth their time. If you'd like to subscribe to the World's Toughest mailing list, you can find a link on our Facebook page, facebook.com/World's Toughest Pod. Look for the link on the left that says World's Toughest Email. Someone sent me a note and said they're not listening to the episodes right now because they're saving them up for the plane ride to Vegas. I told them I have got content for days between now and Vegas. Feel free to listen. You don't need to hoard. Jon Albon is our guest today. Jon won World's Toughest Mudder in 2015 and 2016 as part of a team with Ryan Atkins. Last year, he and Atkins ran 105 miles, good for first place and a $100,000 bonus prize. This year at World's Toughest, there is a $50,000 bonus for the individual man who wins the race and reaches 110 miles. This will be the first year Atkins and Albon compete against each other at World's Toughest Mudder. Here's the reason the Atkins-Albon race between them is so fascinating. Albon is the only man in the world who's been able to consistently beat Ryan Atkins, but those wins have been at shorter races, 10 to 12 miles. Atkins has never been beaten in any race longer than 8 hours. But one of those has to give. Someone has to win the race. I don't know who's going to win, but I know this. It's not going to be a tie. Those are the two biggest names in the men's race, but I don't want to sell the rest of the field short. Last year, 7 men ran 100 miles or more at World's Toughest Mudder. Atkins and Albon were 2 of them. They ran 105 miles in the team race. Also in the team race, Chad Trammell and Robert Killian ran 100 miles for second place. In the individual category, Trevor Sykos ran 105 miles to win the individual category. Austin Azar ran 100 for second place. And Christopher Mendoza ran 100 miles for third place. All 7 men will be running again this year, but only 4 of them are in the individual category. Atkins, Albon, Sykos, and Killian are running individual. Trammell, Azar, and Christopher Mendoza are running in the team category. Everyone knows Atkins and Albon ran 105 miles last year, but people forget that Trevor Sykos ran 105 miles also. And he actually finished 2 minutes faster than Atkins and Albon. That 2 minutes doesn't actually mean a ton because of how the finish line rules have worked the last couple of years. But still, do not count out Trevor Sykos or Robert Killian with his 100 miles last year and who knows this year. 2 things before we talk with Jon Albon. Don't forget about our first ever World's Toughest Podcast call-in show. On November 6th, the Monday night before World's Toughest Mudder, I'll be taking calls from 9 p.m. to midnight Pacific time. Call me at 619-378-4369. That's 61 Zest Gym 9. Call with questions, call with comments. You can leave a review for the podcast on iTunes and then read it yourself on the air. Just make sure you submit it to iTunes first. We'll record on Monday night, and the episode will air on Tuesday. I'm excited to see how it turns out. It may be terrible, but it won't be boring. Last thing, let's read some iTunes reviews. This one is by Beast Runner 24. 5 stars. Great podcast. Great audio quality. Informs me, motivates me, and makes me laugh too. And I really just want to hear you say 5 stars. Thank you, Beast Runner 24. At first I thought, I can't believe 23 other people already took the Beast Runner name. But the 24 is clearly for 24 hours. So there are still plenty of other Beast Runner tags available if you are interested. If you'd like to be a part of the show, you can leave a review like Beastmaster24. Go to the Purple Podcast app on your iPhone and search for Tough Mudder. We're the first one that pops up. Click our logo and then scroll down to click on Write a Review. I know it's a little work. I appreciate you doing it. It's time to talk with Jon Albon. Let's go to the phones. Jon Albon is a 2-time winner of World's Toughest Mudder. In 2015, Jon won as part of a 4-man team. And in 2016, Jon won as part of a 2-man team with Ryan Atkins. In 2016, Jon's team became the first team to ever reach 100 miles on their way to 105 miles, first place, and a $100,000 bonus prize. Jon is also one of the only 7 men to ever run 100 miles at World's Toughest Mudder, and the winner of OCR World Championships in 2014, 15, 16, and 17. I'm happy to welcome Jon Albon to the show. Hey, Jon, welcome.
Thank you. How are you doing?
I'm awesome. Jon, World's Toughest Mudder is right around the corner. How do you feel?
Yeah, pretty good. I guess pretty ready to have my off season, and World's Toughest Mudder will be the last race. So looking forward to having it over, but then also it's a really great event. So looking forward to taking part too.
You've won World's Toughest Mudder twice, both times with Ryan Atkins as your teammate. This is the first year you're going to race against him at World's Toughest Mudder. How do you plan to approach the race with him as a competitor?
I think it'd be the same. It's kind of a race for everyone against the course and the clock, and then whoever does that bit the best will probably end up winning. So I guess it's just concentrate on myself and eating right and wearing the right clothes and just going round and round and round, and then hopefully it'll play out good in the end.
There's a $50,000 bonus for the men if they do 2 things: win the race and reach 110 miles. Which one of those will be harder to achieve?
Ooh, I don't know, to be honest. I would have thought that there would only be one person to reach 110 miles. I guess it depends on the weather and the course as well. But then again, I guess they would both come hand in hand at the end of the day. So
this has become a serious race with $50,000 on the line this year. This is both yours and Atkins' profession. It's your job. What happens in the middle of the night if the two of you approach an obstacle like Everest at the same time?
I'm sure we'll be helping each other up, to be honest. It's the same as if we'd help anyone else up. I mean, we're all out there and we'll go around the course as hard as we can. So, I'm sure camaraderie will endure throughout the entire night. I'm not sure about the next morning, but I'm pretty sure if we're still together, then, we're both racing well and pushing hard. So we're both going to do 110 miles, and it'll just come down to the last few laps, I guess.
Of course, you're not racing just Atkins. There are 5 other men out there who ran 100 miles last year. How do you approach a race with such a strong field?
I just think about as I said, about my own race. I don't know, just not really concentrate on anyone else. There's a lot of people that can go out way too fast at the beginning, a lot of people which will go out a bit slow and then claw back miles through the night. So I'm just going to concentrate on my own body and my own race and just see how it goes.
You're living in Norway right now, and there are a lot of international runners for World's Toughest Mudder. How do you handle the pre-race and the post-race travel?
To be honest, I'm actually traveling in on the Thursday. I think I land around 3 p.m. So it's like kind of cut everything quite fine. And then Friday will be pretty manic, getting like pit set up and going food shopping and stuff. So I don't think I'll have that much time for anything else other than getting prepared for the race, to be honest. But it'd be great to meet a few people after the race. I think I'm sticking around till Tuesday. So see a few familiar faces I don't get to see every day, because even though I do live in Europe, it's not often that I'm sort of seeing a lot of the people because the races are so spread apart here.
Do you have a pit crew? How do you handle pitting?
I'm getting a mate come out, Scott Seafelt, who came out last year. He's going to come out and help with my dad as well.
What is your fueling strategy?
I guess Cliff Gel was for like every half lap, in a sense. So at the halfway mark every lap, so that's not in the pit. I'm just trying to eat as much food in the pits as possible, especially warm foods during the night, like chicken noodle soup always seems to be a favourite for some reason, and just eat as much as possible, and whatever I fancy really, just hopefully it all goes in and it all settles and it all stays in there. So,
what's your plan for your wetsuit or cold protection?
I've got 3 different wetsuits, which is actually more of a problem than just having one. But at the moment, I think I'm going to go with like a rash vest without arms as like a base layer, and then a short T-swim run wetsuit on top, which has got short legs and long arms.
Are there any obstacles you're dreading or that you hope they don't have out there?
I don't know. I'm really not sure what obstacles they're going to have. I guess the course is still pretty much a secret. But I guess the cliff sticks in your mind every year as well, so I guess the cliff.
In the middle of the night, do you ever find your mind taking you to those dark places? How do you handle that?
I don't know. I mean, it's going to be a new one for me because I've never run alone, so who knows how I'm going to handle it and what's going to happen. But normally I've just been running with other people and we've chatted and we've just talked about stuff and we've got through the night and there's always someone there by your side. Now I think I'm just going to have to rely on all the other competitors sort of like cheering me along, and just sort of I look forward to finding out what I actually have inside of me and see if I can bring it out and do a good race.
What advice would you give to somebody running World's Toughest for the first time?
I think at this point thinking about gear, because definitely staying warm and hydrated and fueled is the biggest thing. And then also once we actually start racing, don't go off too hard. And then with each obstacle, try and find the most efficient way to do it. So there's a lot of different techniques you can use. Some are going to be faster and some are going to save more energy. And just find the way that's going to be best for you throughout the whole 24 hours and then just do that every time. And then also just stuff. I mean, I hear a lot of people that like go to sleep in their tents and this and that, but the event is 24 hours. Be out on course for 24 hours. And then you'll just get the whole experience. And by the end of it, you'll be pretty proud of yourself.
Do you have any sponsors or anything you'd like to plug?
There's a lot of brands which support me. Dry Road being one, which is going to be sort of pretty key because they keep you warm when you're pretty cold, especially after and before the event. Cliff Bar is going to be massive for me with hydration and nutrition, so it's really great they're sending me a load of products. Who else? I mean, specifically World Toughest Mother, it's just such a different event to anything I do during the whole year. So a lot of my sponsors I have for the other events, and this is a real special one. So some of the products I won't even be using at this event just get so different.
Jon Albon, any last thoughts on a World's Toughest 2017?
No, I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Hopefully everyone else enjoys themselves. Hopefully during the first parts of the race there's not too many queues for obstacles and people are happy enough to let people like myself and Ryan skip ahead so we can sort of make the dream of doing 110 miles a reality. And just look forward to getting out there with everyone.
Special thanks to Jon Albon for appearing in this episode. Well done, Jon. I'm sure we'll talk again after the race. Don't forget about our call-in show on Monday night, 9 p.m. to midnight Pacific time, 619-378-4369. All are welcome. Pit crew, first-timers, no-timers, whatever. If this goes well, we will probably do it again sometime. If it goes terrible, we'll definitely do it again sometime. I will see you in Vegas.